Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video on the Power Commander network and why I really like the Power Commander network versus just a flash. A lot of guys knock the Power Commander and I really don't understand why. They serve a unique purpose and they're really not made to compete with flashing your bike. And so oftentimes you hear guys say, oh, a flash is better than a Power Commander, and the Power Commanders are garbage and they're junk, and don't do it, don't waste your money. But I'm here to tell you that that is silly reasoning, and I'm gonna explain why with this video. So first thing I'm gonna do is pull the seat off. I'm gonna show you my Power Commander 5 network and explain what each of the components do and why I like to run the Power Commander even though my bike is flashed. Hang tight. Alright guys, welcome back. So I'm going to go over my Power Commander 5 network and what each component does. Now, the first negative about the Power Commander network is that it's a lot of clutter on the install. So if you see here, I have 4 modules here. This is the Power Commander 5. This is the secondary fuel module. This on top of it is the ignition module. This is the auto tune. And up front I have the Pod 300. Okay. Before I really get into the Power Commander, I'm going to talk a little bit about the purpose of a flash. When you take the flash off when you take your ECU off of the bike and you send it to get flashed, they're removing any electronic restrictions that the bike has. So if your throttle bodies start to close at 10,000 RPM down to 30%, I think on the H2, they can undo that. So automatically when you de-restrict the bike, you're going to pick up 25 to 30 horsepower because the throttle bodies will stay 100% open. You cannot do that with a Power Commander. You need the flash to do that, okay? The next thing with the flash will allow a person to make fueling adjustments similar to what a Power Commander 5 will do, and it will allow you to make ignition timing adjustments similar to what an ignition module will do. So you're probably wondering, well, if I can flash the bike, why do I need products that do the same thing? Well, here's why. The Ninja H2 ECU is behind the front fairing. To get to it, okay, you have to pull the bodywork, you have to get it, and the dyno tuner, or the tuner in general, who has access to a dyno, will de-restrict the bike. He'll make some fueling changes, then he will make some timing changes, and then he'll put the ECU back in. Maybe he'll install a harness so that way he doesn't have to keep taking it in and out the next time, and then he'll put it on the dyno and he'll do a pull. He'll get the dyno results. It'll make X amount of horsepower, and the air-fuel ratio, let's say it's a bit rich, 11.5. He has to now connect his harness, reflash the bike after making some more fueling changes, wait for that to finish, then pull it, put it back on the dyno, do another pull. Maybe he gets it to 12. Maybe he wants it to be 12.2 or 12.4. Now he has to put the harness back in. He has to flash it again, and then he has to run it in the dyno. Then after maybe 3 or 4 different flashes, sometimes more if the tuner is not skilled, he finally gets it in the ballpark. And what a lot of tuners have done is they've added radical ignition timing. So I'll give you an example of why ignition timing really makes power on this thing. When I flashed my bike with the Flash Tune kit, I put just a de-restricting flash in there and with no timing adjustments. What that did was it gave me 20 to 30 more horsepower, and I made 220 horsepower more or less after the flash from 190. So I picked up 30 horsepower. But there were guys that were sending their ECUs to other tuners and they were claiming 236, 238, or some even 240. how are they making so much more horsepower than me after flashing it? Well, what those tuners were doing is they were putting radical ignition timing changes in the ECU. Okay, so the bikes made great power. The exhaust headers were glowing red because ignition timing made heat. The downside of that was people were melting pistons and they were basically destroying their H2 engines. Why? Because most people couldn't afford to put in race fuel to handle the aggressive ignition timing. Hope you guys are following me up to this point. Most guys were running pump 89, pump 91, pump 93. And when you're adding 8 or in some cases 10 degrees of timing at various points in the power band, it was too much heat generated, too much abuse on the motor, and a lot of guys melted pistons. If you guys are on Facebook following the H2 groups or on the forums, you know who some of these people are, and it was very sad. Here is where I feel the benefit comes from the Power Commander 5 network. So in my case, I de-restricted the bike and I did a custom map, and if you look over here, I have a Power Commander switch with 2 settings. In setting number 1, I put an aggressive race fuel map with ignition timing, with advanced ignition timing, and a setup that will make maximum horsepower but requires race fuel. In the second setting, I put a very mellow tune with not so advanced ignition timing that can run on pump gas. Okay? And I can toggle. So if I'm at the racetrack, right, I can put it in the aggressive tune when I'm running race fuel and I want maximum power. When I'm on the street commuting or going out on my errands or just a fun little ride, I can put it on the civil map and I'm good. You cannot do that with a flash. You cannot do that. There is no switch. Once you get a flash, it's that one setting, that one tune from the tuner, and you have no flexibility unless you change your mind and you decide, I don't want this flash that's too aggressive, let me send it back so he can detune it. Now, before some of you guys correct me, yes, there are some new tweaks now where the flash, I know Flash Tune has one, they have some type of auto tune. Auto tune will make dynamic changes to the fueling while you're driving based on the conditions. I get it. But I don't know for certain if that does fueling and timing or just fueling. In any event, that is the key advantage of the Power Commander 5 network. It gives you flexibility. You can have multiple tunes loaded, etc., etc. Now, the other benefit of the Power Commander 5 network is the ease of tuning. So if I'm at the dyno, we do a pull, we see it's too lean, we want to add fuel, the dyno operator types it in the computer with the bike running and does another pull, all within 30 to 40 seconds. Super easy. No need to shut the bike down, no need to put the harness back on the ECU, no need to reflash. He does the tuning real time because he has this hooked up directly to the dyno, and he can make the fueling and the ignition timing changes with the ignition module, with the bike running, with the dyno running. You can be in and out of the dyno room in literally 20 minutes or less. I've seen it, but if you have to flash the bike multiple times, I think even to flash it can take up to 10 minutes. And you need an internet connection in some cases. So again, that's why I like the Power Commander. Ease of tuning, more flexibility, and the fact that you can choose multiple maps. Third is the logging feature. Now I know that some of the flash kits out there have logging. I think Woolwich has logging, and Woolwich is probably one of the most popular flashing options out there. The DynoJet has what's called a Pod 300. And if I can find what I did with my key, if I go here on the menu, data logging, and view and remove channels, PCV, and then basically I chose throttle position, I chose engine RPM, and gear position. And air fuel ratio. And that's what I want. I want to see what gear I'm in, what the RPM is in, the throttle position, and what the air fuel ratio is for that respective RPM. And that's it. As soon as I go for a ride, press that middle button, it starts the log. When I'm done, I hook it up to the laptop and I can read the data right on the laptop. And that's if I don't have access to a dyno. I can actually do some tuning without being at the dyno. Now, for me, and I'm going to go on a test ride in a little while, I just recently installed the stage 3 gear last weekend. Couldn't get a dyno appointment in time. So, what did I do? Well, I preemptively took some ignition timing out of the map, my race map, and just added a couple of percentage points of fuel everywhere in the Power Commander map. And guess what? When I go for a ride, I'm going to log it, I'm going to record it. When I come back, I'm going to hook it up to the laptop and see where my air fuel ratio is at. Granted, I won't be able to get full throttle on it, but it will give me enough data, at least for while I'm cruising, so this way my dyno operator doesn't have to go back and redo it because I've already done it. And the nice thing about it is when you're riding on the road and you have air being sucked into the engine, it tends to be more accurate than a dyno room per se by 0.1 or 0.2 on the air fuel ratio. So just wanted to share with you my thoughts on why I particularly like the Power Commander network. I don't understand why guys knock it. It's not meant to compete with a flash. It's not a replacement for a flash. You cannot de-restrict your bike with a Power Commander, right? And yes, the flash can do pretty much everything that the Power Commander does, with the exception of giving you an option to switch the maps. And also it's a little bit more challenging to tune because you really can't do it real time. And if you work on a bike and you don't have access to a dyno, it's so much easier for you to hook up the laptop, add some fuel as a precaution, pull some timing out as a precaution, go log the data, and see how your bike is responding on the laptop. And you know, you can get a lot of the work done before your next dyno appointment. So I hope this answers any of the questions you guys may have had regarding the Power Commander network. There's a lot of confusion. Guys are knocking it and they really have no idea what they're talking about. They really don't. And I'm sorry to say it. And I'm not a know-it-all. I don't know everything, and I'm willing to be taught. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free to post them in the video. But I am pretty much adamant that for Ninja H2 tuning, the Power Commander is the best way to go. I've got about maybe a dozen maps on my laptop that I can put in here at any given time. Maps for different air filters, maps for the different stages of gears, maps for the slip-on or full system, map for race fuel, different types of race fuel, different types of pump gas, ethanol-free gas. I have all of those different maps on my laptop, and I can make any change at any time and just upload the map and be good to go. To do that with a flash will just take a lot of effort, and it will cost you a lot of money to keep sending your ECU back to get reworked. And it's also my understanding that even one of the most popular tuners locks his flash, so you can't make changes to what he's done, but you can only overwrite it. So good luck with that. So anyhow, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this quick update on why I like the Power Commander network. Don't knock it till you try it. We get it. Flashing is great. The fuel maps have a higher resolution. You can fine tune it and make it great. But I challenge any of you out there who boast about the fuel resolution maps to prove that it shows up on the dyno. I mean, convince me that it's that much more superior to the Power Commander network. I don't think it is, guys. And most of us really are recreational riders anyway. But for what you get, You know, the only negative, like I said, is the clutter. And honestly, if I put in a lithium battery here, that's going to give me a lot more room to work with. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. I got the track season starting up in a few weeks. Can't wait to see you guys at the track. Take care.